It's telling me it's live. Do, 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 do. Okay. Now, do I have audio? Okay. Nice. Now, do I have... But for some reason now I can't see the chat. Yes. Open the chat. What's going on, guys? Sorry, we're having some sort of weird technical thing with the chat. Nope, there it goes. Came back. How we doing? We are going to switch it up a little bit tonight. I know I said we were going to be making bratwurst, but our quick patty maker video went ballistic again at 1.5 million views over the weekend. So we need to capture the excitement over that, and we're going to make patties, chicken patties instead. So I've got some chicken thighs here. I still am going to use the feta and spinach bratwurst seasoning or sausage seasoning. For those of you who don't know me well, I hate feta with a almost unholy passion. Really can't stand it. But for whatever reason, with chicken, it does work well in this seasoning. Now, we're also going to talk about and use an additive here, and this is called Super Bind. So Super Bind's a little bit different than other binders we use, and the reason for that is it's actually a mix of two different binding agents. The one most of you are already familiar with, and that's carrot fiber, right? We know carrot fiber can hold up to 26 times its weight in water. So if you have 1 ounce of carrot fiber, you can basically hold 26 ounces of water in that. The other additive is something called potato starch. Now, potato starch is really interesting because when it's wet and heated to about 130 degrees, it forms a really absorbent gel. So it's a gel that does a great job sucking up everything around it. So we're able to keep a lot of moisture in a product that would sometimes be dry, like a chicken broth. Chicken patty should be the exact same thing. I would normally add the recommended amount of this Super Bind to whatever chicken sausage I was making, but since we're doing patties, I'm gonna mix everything by hand. I'm gonna add half of that, see what the texture is like, and then we'll add some more. Let me just take a quick look at chat. Sinister MD, what's going on, man? It's National American Beer Day. Dos Equis. Sorry, I know Miller Lite's my go-to, but this is Dos Equis. Normally, I would be drinking Miller Lites here, but we're changing it up a bit today. And the Commanders play the Chiefs tonight on Monday Night Football. My girlfriend is a huge Chiefs fan, so she's waiting for me at my house. So I want to be out of here by about 7 o'clock so I can get home in time for the game. But if we go long, we go long. Not very confident on my Commanders' chances tonight anyways. But throughout this entire thing, I'll try and keep an eye on the chat. But most likely what's going to happen is I'm going to process. We're going to grind everything. This is our Waltons 22 grinder with the one-shot attachment. I've got the 3/16 plate on here. So it's the middle plate, that 4.5 millimeter plate. I've also got our 11-pound sausage stuffer hooked up to the Quick Patty Maker. We'll show you guys how we're using that. Then we'll go out there and start grilling them. Now, as we grill them, that's probably when I'll be able to look through chat for the most part. I'll try and keep an eye on it, but I'm sure I'm going to miss some. So if you have questions about Super Bind, about processing sausage patties, anything like that, with alternate proteins, go ahead and put them in there. I'll get to them. Or if you just want to know what the seasoning tastes like. And when I say I hate feta, I despise feta. I don't want to eat anything that it's in, but it's good in this. And I think it's because it's it's obviously like a dried format. It's not the wet Greek feta that I hate. So with A whole chicken thigh should fit right down our 22 grinder. So we're actually not going to cut these up at all. We're going to experiment here a little bit together. I know I have exactly 5.5 pounds. So I've already weighed everything out to 5.5 pounds. Get that out of the way. And before we get going, let's just talk real quick about what's in the box. So back here, I've got the Waltons and the Flush Ultimate Upland Kit. This is a partnership that we did with the Flush. It's a TV show that's run by Ron Share Productions and our good friend Travis. So this is a combination of a bunch of Waltons branded things and the Flush branded things. You get a hat, a nice bamboo cutting board that's got both our logos on it, a heat resistant mitt, 3 different seasonings. You've got the sweet and sassy garlic pepper, you've got smokehouse barbecue, and the chipotle lime sweet rub. We're also going to give you the mango habanero jam from Terrapin Ridge Farms, a thing of Hatch green chili, Walton's boning knife, one of the Walton's thermometers, and this card right here. Now this card has a attachment when you scan the QR code on it that is going to take you to a digital cookbook that myself and a bunch of guys from Ron Shara all put their favorite upland recipe on, and we tried to give you seasonings that would allow you to make those things. It's a great stocking stuffer or gift for the hunter, upland hunter in your life who you don't know what to get them. That is a great gift. Have you heard the pizza delivery song from the Spider-Man 2 game? No. But I am curious now, and I will try to look that up after. Wonder if I was singing something and that brought it up. And Mike, we try to keep things basically sausage based here. That seems to be what most people want to see from us, but occasionally we'll mix things up just a bit and give everyone a chance to see the Quick Patty Maker in use if you haven't already seen it. So the Walton's One Shot here is going to do both of our grinds in a single pass. So we're going to be done with grinding in just a couple of minutes. A new thing that I saw, trick, however you want to say it, was to put ice cubes down the bottom of your grinder to get everything out of it. But with the One Shot, there's so much torque in here that I don't even want to try that. I'm just going to grab a little bit of the meat, put it back through there, and clean it out. But if you're using a traditional grinding system, a large cup of ice cubes down your grinder at the very end will push all the meat right out, and it cleans it. You still have to clean it with soap, but it gets pretty much everything out of it. All right, so here we go. I don't have a stomper with me because there shouldn't be any reason for me to use it. And I'm just dropping these chicken thighs down there whole. And the real advantage to this, like I said, is we're doing both grinds in a single pass. It's coming out that 3/16 plate, and it's the perfect texture for bratwursts, for just loose like hamburger style meat, or to make patties out of. And we just want to make sure before we put the next chicken breast down there that it's cleared. So I'm just being a little bit patient here. This is a fairly big one right there, but yeah, it ate it up no problem. Chicken's so easy to grind. And with the One Shot, I don't recommend that you freeze your meat first. If you're doing traditional grinding systems, it's usually better to freeze your meat a little bit before you grind it. But with the One Shot, just temperature of your cooler is more than cold enough. It'll eat right through it. So that's 5.5 pounds of finished ground in basically no time. Just make sure everything was ground at least once. So the biggest problem there is I now have to clean this. right? Because it went through that absolutely no problem. But wish there was an easier way to do some of this grinding. So that little piece didn't make it through on the second grind, which is fine. We'll just separate that out. And get this stuff out of the way. So the next part obviously is just mixing. Now with chicken, I don't see any need to add any type of water to it. Chicken generally has a high enough water content. So we're gonna mix in our seasoning. And I just like to sprinkle it on, kind of flatten it out, sprinkle it on. And then, like I said, I'm gonna add about half the amount of this super bind that I normally would. Now the super bind is a mix of potato starch and carrot fiber. I know on Meatgistics for a while, carrot fiber was really popular. We were all using it, talking about it. It is a great moisture retainer. So if you're making a lower fat product, it's a great way to keep some moisture in it. It does also work just as a binder, right? It's not gonna do the same thing that Sure Gel will do. Sure Gel will increase your ability to get protein extraction. So they have a little bit different functions, even though they get to kind of similar places. So I'm just mixing this in with my hands, being careful not to overmix because I don't want it to have, you know, like a cured sausage texture to it. And with chicken, these proteins extract so easily that we're just trying to make sure we don't have any issues with that. I also am down my phone right now. Normally I'd have my phone down here to make it a little bit easier to look at chat. My laptop just went to sleep, but I am streaming from the phone I usually have down here. So as soon as I can get to a normal stopping part, I'll re-wake up my laptop and check out what chat is looking like. So we want to stop before we get protein extraction, and we're pretty much there. So I'm going to add just a bit more of that super bind. Think during the stuffing, I don't think we're going to notice the super bind at all. But during the cooking, one of the cool things about potato starch, which is in super bind, is that it forms a gel right around 130 degrees. And that temperature is important because 130 degrees is right about the time that meats start expelling all their water. It's when the proteins start tightening up and they push the water out from that negative space in between. So the super bind with the potato starch does a great job of capturing that water. So it makes it really, really nice to get a juicy product from something with a little bit lower fat than we would normally like. I like to make my burgers out of 80-20, and a chicken thigh is probably somewhere around 8 to 11%, depending on how fatty the thigh was. Get one of these gloves. Actually, I'm just gonna take them both off. We'll wake back up the computer. So I see some question about Papa Sop responded with skin on thighs, right? I mean, yes, if you get them with skins on, that is a little bit more fat we can add. You want to make sure that you have a nice sharp plate and knife on whatever your grinding system is, though, if you are going to grind skins. I have done it before where we get a little bit of underground skin in there, and that's not a good texture. Let's make sure you guys can see all this. All right, so this is our 11-pound sausage stuffer. This is the Waltons Quick Patty Maker. I'm sure most of you have seen it before. If not, I'm gonna load this canister, push the meat down into these cavities. As soon as it's done, push it over, it'll drop down. I fill the next cavity, I pull it this way. It's just a nice, easy way to make a lot of patties quickly and make sure that all of those patties are the same size. That's especially important with thickness because it means that we're gonna cook them all at the same rate. I've got our Camp Chef woodwind going out there, so we're just gonna grill them all right on that. Let's take another nice swig of beer. And get our tray ready to catch all those delicious patties. When I'm loading this stuffer, I just want to make sure I'm not putting any air pockets in here. So you're going to see me, it'll look like I'm punching down at the meat, and that is what I'm doing. I'm just trying to pack it down in there pretty tight, and it'll push all the air pockets out. Now, these stuffers do come with a air release valve on the top of the piston, but that can only do so much for you. If there's an air pocket 5-6 inches down into your meat, that air release nozzle is not going to do anything. It's just going to get the air out of the top portion of it. All right. We've got it all nice and packed down in there, and it is pretty solid. So we can get the stuffing. Poly cutting boards. Oh, these things? Yeah. So these are just some poly trays that we have. We sell them. They're convenient for things. If you're doing large projects, I actually like our 24 by 30 flexible cutting mats. I remembered that we had those when I was doing a deer recently, and it's just way easier than trying to do it on this. Now, the downside to that is those don't have any edges. This has nice edges. So if you're working with something with a good amount of moisture, it's going to keep it all, or liquid, it's going to keep it all localized. Those flat mats, it'll go everywhere. But deer processing, meat processing, it's not supposed to be a clean thing. All right, so the back side of this has two different gears, a top one and a bottom one. That top one is for fast retracting and then getting your meat down, or getting your piston down in contact with the meat only. You never want to stuff off that. So let's just make sure this is on there tight, because I've made that mistake before. And we're just gonna crank it a few times. We're watching that top. There's a clear plexiglass. Push it over. Yeah. And we've got a decent formed patty. Now, it's not gonna be like if we were using beef where it stays all nice and perfect, right? It's chicken, so it does have a tendency to be a lot kind of sloppier. Come on, and you can see how sticky it is. It doesn't want to come off those sides. And like, I'm not adding any cheese to this one. Normally I like to add high temp cheese to the burgers when I'm making it out of this, or with this, but on this one, I decided not to. There we go. It's just the handle, no big deal. Oh, handle pops on and off. And it pops off if you do it like an idiot. So we've got nice, even-sized burgers here. Do you guys like making chicken burgers? I'll eat a turkey burger before I eat a chicken burger normally. And that could potentially just be because that's what's usually available. You don't see chicken burgers out in the grocery store very much. And I think we've got one more after this. Yep, that's the last one. We're down at the bottom. All right, so 5 pounds made us 8, 10, I guess 11. Made us 11 burgers there. Okay. All right. I'm going to go move you out there, and I'll be right back as soon as I grab those patties. Now you can see the well, you will see, patties aren't perfectly formed, right? And that's because chicken has a tendency to get very, very sticky, very, very quick. Oop. Oh, thank God I left my keys out here. That was a bad moment right there. I have locked myself out before. And I did learn from my mistake, and I went ahead and created a policy where I throw my keys on the ground and leave them there until I'm done cleaning up. All right, so this is just our Camp Chef woodwind 36-inch grill. At my house, or whatever, my home, I've got the 24-inch model. I tend to prefer that model. It heats up quicker, and I think it holds its heat a little bit more effectively. It doesn't seem to have as many hot and cold spots. So if you're looking for a pellet grill combo, and you are looking at a Camp Chef or something like it, I do recommend you go with the slightly smaller one, as the larger ones often have that temperature fluctuation issue. All right, I'm gonna flip everything around. There we go. Can I move this any more down so you're not looking up at me? Cool. All right, I'm gonna start scrolling through chat while those get going here just to see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. Sinister MD says, do you get protein extraction with chicken like beef or pork? Is it more or less forgiving? It depends on what you want to mean by forgiving. It's going to start globbing onto each other a lot faster that way than it is, or with that, than it is with beef or pork. Specifically, beef can be somewhat, not challenging is the wrong word, but beef can take a little bit longer to get the proper protein extraction. That's one of the reasons. Sure-Gel is absolutely a great thing to use, or some sort of binder like that, a milk-based binder. Sure-Gel I like because I make a lot of snack sticks, and Sure-Gel was specifically designed to help bind, but still allow you to stuff small diameter sausages, which is what a snack stick is. Plates for the dual grind or in general? So I'll talk about plates for the dual grind, because we do have two different styles of dual grind. We've got the original one we brought in, which is based on a number 12 grinding system. So it's a number 12 plate, it's a number 12 knife. And the outside plate, your finishing plate on the number 12 dual grind, can be any regular number 12 plate. It's just a standard plate. For the number 22, it is a little bit different. Because there's so much increased torque in there, we had to redesign the stud that goes on the end of the auger, and it has to have a much bigger hole at the end of it. So those plates are all specialized. So with the number 12 one shot, or the one that doesn't have a number in front of it, that one you can use your finishing plate, whatever you want. Number 22, you have to use the specific dual grind finishing plate for that. Hopefully that helped. Suburban, whatever that is, says, what are you cooking? And those are some chicken patties that we made using our Feta and spinach bratwurst seasonings. Any thoughts on carrying larger final grind plates? For the number 22, yes, they're on order. Okay, where'd you get your white plate? Okay, I already answered that one. Excellent, so I'm not too far behind. I never have made them, but certainly looks like we'd try when I get that patty maker. So patty makers are in stock and ready for sale. You can use them with sausage stuffer or any size grinder, 8 to 32. They definitely work better with a sausage stuffer though. You have a tendency to overwork the meat a little bit through your grinder if you're trying to stuff off the grinder. Can be done, absolutely can be done, but a little bit. Surprised you are not using patty papers. I've got some butcher paper in there, or not butcher paper, freezer paper in there if I wanted to use it, but it was one sheet, so it didn't really matter. The breaking and entering episode would have been fun. Oh, me getting back in? Yeah. If you look at it, I'm sure Allie posted it to our social medias. Luckily, Austin, somehow I got in touch with Allie, or maybe Tex got in touch with Austin, and he was able to remotely let me into the building. So that was fun. And there's video cameras everywhere, so you see me get all excited when I get back in. Thanks for streaming this. Yeah, no, this is part of, like, we've been doing this for probably 3 months now, every Monday, and it seems like audience is growing. I love doing this stuff. Like, you're a captive audience. You don't have to stay here, but I get to talk and we get to cook something, and hopefully I get to start answering questions. because this is the time of the year where a lot of people who aren't normally making sausage, jerky, snack sticks, anything like that are going to start making those. And that's what I'm here for, to try and help out with that. So this is a good way to get to talk to people. Hi, how are you from Greece? Oh, Greece. So is it because I'm using Feta? Is that why it showed up on your live stream? That's a very good chance that is why it did it. I use patty papers when I'm going to freeze them. Yeah. So I like using butcher paper or freezer paper. I line them up with just the plastic side touching, or the wax side touching the meat. That prevents it from sticking to it. And then I can do large amounts in a single sheet. I don't have to worry about going back and forth. All right, let's see how these are doing. They're gonna be there for a little bit. I'm gonna grab my beer. I'll keep talking to you guys as I'm doing that. You're getting a great look at our shipping system there. They come and pick up their their trailer every single night. We fill up a new one, and during busy season, a time or two, we've even had to get a replacement one. We're gonna be doing our ridiculous long live stream on December 1st. Austin and I will start streaming at noon, and we'll finish up right around 5 o'clock. We'll have guests on there. Brett will be on there. Flip, a bunch of people that you guys have seen before, either on the podcast or live streams. So it should be a good time. Was it the last one? Yeah, Crab Rangoon. I was sitting out here, and right on the other side of that green thing, there was a smaller, obviously like local truck driver. And I was staring at the window. I'm like, is that a dog? So I went over to check it out, and it was this cute little pit bull, tiny, small little pit bull, full grown, but small. And so we let him out, and he was running around playing, and I gave them some of what we make. Ah, that was a good beer. Where's your beer? You got to get your own beer. I don't even know if you're 21. Made 5 pounds of Willys yesterday. They seem to be more peppery, spicy than normal. So a good well, whatever. There could be numerous things that is. Number one, fat content is absolutely going to play into how spicy anything we make is going to be. The more fat you have in something, the longer it's going to stay in your mouth, and it's going to feel like a more spicy experience, right? So pork fat specifically melts at really low temperatures. So as we're chewing it, it's actually going to start melting. That fat is going to get all over the inside of our mouth, and those flavors are going to linger longer. Another thing that it possibly could be, and this might seem antithetical to what I just said, but cheese really does cut down on spice in any type of snack stick, summer sausage, anything like that. So if you made it and you didn't add cheese, that could be another possibility. Anything made without, if you usually use encapsulated citric acid and you didn't, that changes the spice flavor. And then I don't think this is it because very few people use this, but I started using smooth acid in my last 2 batches. Smooth acid is a mix of encapsulated lactic acid and ascorbic acid. So it still drops the pH of the meat. You still get a little bit of that tang, but it's just not quite as aggressive. It's a little bit lighter of a tang to it. So, no, I didn't share the strombolis. If I'm making strombolis, those are for me and me alone. It's been a while since I made sun-dried tomato chicken sausage. Super tasty. Yep. Sun-dried tomato basil is a really good seasoning for that. There are a couple of seasonings that just work really well with chicken, and you can kind of figure out what they are just by, I mean, it sounds stupid, but just by the name of them, right? Like feta and spinach is going to go well with chicken. Sun-dried tomato basil is going to be good with chicken. Something like the hot buffalo wing brat, right? We all know buffalo wing or buffalo and chicken go together. Some other ones are going to sound and probably going to be bad just by the name of them. I would not want to eat a dill chicken bratwurst. That doesn't sound good to me. What else would be bad? Well, I was going to say jalapeno popper, but jalapeno popper chicken sausages might actually be quite excellent. Kanji, yeah, we need to be 21 for beer here. That is the United States. You can vote. You can enter the draft, but you can't drink a beer until you're 21. It is crazy. I fully agree with that. It absolutely makes no sense. ND Mike says likes smooth acid better than ECA. ECA is encapsulated citric acid, which is what we've used for years and years and years here. And I think I agree. When we first got it, I immediately started using it, and I just honestly, I kind of forgot about it. I just stopped thinking about it. And I don't know what made me want to go back to trying it, but we made a batch of the habanero barbecue summer sausage, and which is my favorite summer sausage seasoning, Patrick's favorite summer sausage seasoning. And I just wanted to try something different. So we added 2 different cheeses. We added some hot pepper and some cheddar. And then the other thing we did differently was the smooth acid. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it was the smooth acid that did it, or if there were just maybe a little bit wetter of pork butts than I normally get. But it definitely seemed a little bit more moist than a normal summer sausage that I make and then cook in our regular smoker. So I have to do some more testing. So it may have some effect on like the juiciness of your finished product, right? When we're talking about a bratwurst or something like that, the more juicy, the better. But a summer sausage, a snack stick, that's a semi-dry product. It should be fairly dry. So that was the only thing I would say I wasn't crazy about. That's a female truck driver who was not bad looking. Sorry, I'm shocked by that. Jalapeno popper with chicken. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it would work, even though I initially said it wouldn't. The ones that I know don't go really well, the Jerry's brat doesn't work very well with chicken. Grand Champion, I don't like with chicken. Grand Champion is like the classic bratwurst seasoning. We've got white pepper in there, marjoram, a little bit of anise, and nutmeg. And those just don't go that well with chicken. I've tried it twice. Last batch I made was tons with smooth acid, deer and pork. Yep. Andy Mike, what do you do for your mix of deer and pork? Are you just a pork fat guy, or are you doing like a 60-40? Yeah, Dwight, I highly recommend. Oh, yeah, shoot. There's a 10% off coupon code that's good until Friday. It is OCT Hunt 25. Oct Hunt 25. Oct Hunt. Sounds very German, but Oct Hunt 25. I didn't make that one up. Too late now to have female drivers share a chicken burger. Yeah, she's gone. And I'm in a fairly long-term relationship at this point, so that wouldn't work. All right, we're going to start temping some of these, and then I'm going to go grab something. Yeah, see, I knew this grill was lying to me. And then we're back to what I said earlier. The larger versions of these pellet grills do have a tendency to have more heat or hot and cold areas. So those are at 140 was the first one I took, and 152 was the last one I checked. So we've got another couple of minutes till those are ready. Why does the Waltons brand jalapeno summer sausage come with maple cure versus Birch's cure? That's a good question. So the maple cure that it comes with is going to be a much larger amount, like the package is going to be much larger. But the cure in that is actually still formulated to have the exact same ingoing parts per million of nitrates. So there's no difference there. It is a flavor It's a design of the flavor. No, design of the flavor is not the right word. It was the best way to impart, there you go. It was the best way to impart that final little bit of sweetness that we were looking for. Opening day of pheasant season here was Saturday, and everyone I talked to did very well. Excellent. Dwight, tell them about the Ultimate Upland Kit. It's got really, really good recipes in it, as well as a bunch of useful things. I'm going out to Western Kansas the second week of November. First week of November, I'm going out to LA. I play Trump National, Torrey Pines, and something in Calabasas or something. So I don't know. Play a bunch of nice golf courses. I'm super looking forward to it. So I can swap Butcher's Cure for Maple Cure on jerky. I like the Maple Cure better. Okay, Kevin, yes, huge caveat, right? The amount of that cure, that larger package you have for the cure, is a different percentage of nitrite. When you're just talking about Butcher's Cure or Sheer Cure, which is interchangeable, it is 6.25% nitrite. The rest of it is salt and then some dye, which they're getting rid of, by the way. Some dye to make sure that you don't mix it up with regular salt. In the Butcher's Cure, it's a much lower amount of nitrite. It has sugar in it and other things. So you have to figure it on that original formulation's the wrong word. Oh, here's the easiest thing to do. Kevin, take the amount you want to make for jerky. Go to waltons.com, go to the Waltons jalapeno seasoning, scroll down. We have a seasoning calculator on there. Put in how many pounds of jerky you're gonna make. Ignore everything except for how much of that maple cure it tells you to use. That will be the right amount to use for your jerky. Deer rifle season kicks off November 7th. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be waiting until December, but it's the way it goes. All right, so we're at 165 there and 150 here. Yep. All sorts of hot and cold in these larger grills. And since it's chicken, we need to be up to 165. So we're gonna leave everything in there. I'm gonna go grab something to bring them out because I'm not putting them on that nasty, dirty thing. I'll be right back. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, just the plate's fine. Grab another beer, don't mind if I do. Ugh. All right. So just another minute or two on those. You don't have a tag, but your wife and oldest daughter do. What happened in North Dakota? Are you guys short on deer? That is one amazing, well, there's a lot of amazing things about Kansas. But the hunting in general here is really good for what we have. Pheasant's not what it used to be, but quail are everywhere. I bust coveys of quail just walking my dog through fields all year round. The deer hunting is incredible though. Lowest tags ever. Yikes. That's unfortunate. For us too, right? Like a lot. Busy season for us relies pretty heavily on hunting. So if you guys are giving out record low deer tags. But wait, I heard Missouri had like an all-time high early harvest. So maybe, hopefully it's just regional. I'm sure you probably have CWD or whatever that new name is up in your area. Large winter kills, EHD, there you go, in the last couple of years. Yep, that's a shame, man. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully the amazing fishing you guys have up there and upland bird hunting makes up for it. I was just talking to my neighbor who went up to Maine. He's a Midwesterner, and he had no idea how gorgeous it was up there. He was amazed. Maine is one of the prettiest states that I've been to. I've never been to Alaska. I've never been to Hawaii. I think I said I've been to everywhere. I think I've been everywhere else. And Maine's in the top few. That place is gorgeous. So if you get to go on a moose hunt up in Maine, good Lord. And also, moose meat is top wild game, right? Like, out of everything I've tried, it goes, and I'm sure everyone's sick of this, it goes, does it still go that? Yeah, mountain lion, but right below it is moose. I mean, it was really good. I like moose more than I like elk. And that's a big change for me. It's a clean state on the roads. As a YouTuber, I watch from Maine. Nice country in the Maine Northwoods. But even like southern portion of Maine is gorgeous too. Like they have beautiful coastline. It's very rocky and dramatic. They have awesome lobsters. Now, I do have to tell you, they're getting great white sharks in pretty big numbers up there now. So don't go trying to go dive for your lobsters. That would be a bad idea. Alaska is just like Colorado, but water, lakes everywhere. Okay. I'd never heard that. Down Syndrome Jesus first. Good name. I disagree. I did a side-by-side test, and I liked moose better. And I've always been a huge proponent of elk because I think it tastes awesome. I just think moose is that good. I was talking to Dan Stark. We had him on the podcast about a month ago, and he was telling us about his trip up to to Alaska. And he brought us some moose, and it was just phenomenal. Bear, that's fair. Hear a lot of really, really good things about bear. I believe the only way I've ever had bear was in a summer sausage, and it was good. But, you know, you can't tell much about how a meat is by summer sausage. The one thing that does kind of drive me nuts, and I try and stop people from doing it, is people who, I should be temping these, are people who want to make elk summer sausage, moose summer sausage. And like, deer is great to make sausage out of. But unless we're talking about the bits of an elk or a moose, there are better things to do with those. Like, they don't need to be turned into sausage. And I work for a sausage making company. Like, that's what we try to get you guys to do. But with elk and moose, they're so tasty. Figure out a better way to cook them. All right. Front one is now 163, 164. Check all the other ones real quick. Yeah, and they're all over that. That front one's the coldest one, it looks like. Unfortunately, one of them got up to 180. See what I'm saying? Smaller grills, guys. Smaller grills are just better. Let's put that one on the bottom of all these. Another thing about making any, like, chicken sausage, chicken patties, when you go to cook them, your cleanup is going to be a lot worse all the way around. Not only on your meat processing equipment, but also your grill. As soon as we start getting those proteins start binding together, they're going to grab onto everything and just suck to it. That's shutting down. I'll be back for you guys in a jiffy. Ooh. Put those right back in my pocket. All right. Hopefully, in the next 2 or so weeks, one of our live streams is going to be not cooking based at all, but instead we're going to walk around Waltons and give you guys a tour of the new facility. That should be pretty fun. Hopefully that's something you guys are wanting. I know it's something that we talked about early on, and there was a lot of interest in us doing. So hopefully you guys are still up for that. All right, let's get a clean plate. And we'll see, I think this is going to be a high level of vegetables for me. More than I normally have. Because there's spinach in here. I've got a little bit of Dijon mustard right here, just in case I want to... Did I lose the stream? No. Still going. Cool. All right, so chicken, feta. We've got obviously a very nice cook on it, right? With chicken, we never ever want to mess around. So we cooked it all the way up to 165, and a decent amount of these went fairly over. And remember, I hate feta cheese, but that is still freaking delicious. I despise feta cheese, and this is so freaking good. Ugh. If you've never tried the feta cheese and spinach seasoning, you absolutely need to, because these are awesome. That's as good as any burger seasoning that we could possibly put into a chicken patty. I mean, the Parmesan garlic butter, maybe a little bit better, but this is right up there with it. I'd put it above the roasted onion, like really freaking tasty. A pile of meat cookies is fair. I mean, meat cookies sound pretty good. We actually used the Quick Patty Maker one night to make chocolate chip cookies. Came out pretty good. Give me a second. Huh. Sorry guys, I heard something. It sounded like someone screwing around with stuff out there. And we're out in the middle of nowhere, so want to make sure no one's trying to make off with any of our stuff. ND mic I used, it's a somewhat of a estimate, but 3/4 of the amount that was supposed to be used. Because I went half, and then I went about half of that again. But, oh my God, these are freaking delicious. It could be slightly that I'm super hungry. It might have something to do with that, but whew, I would eat this any night of the week. I could use the sous chef. We could also use a real chef, because I'm not a chef. I just make sausages, hamburgers, things like that. I'm good with Italian cooking, but once we get into pan frying a pheasant, I'm going to start struggling a little bit there. Thanks, Joseph. They are absolutely delicious. Highly, highly recommend. Now, let me put that. So if anybody is looking to order this, or what you need for this, the seasoning, it's Oct Hunt 25, and that should get you 10% off whatever your order is. We also did some changes to shipping that should make it more palatable for most products. We had an issue over the weekend, but I think we've got that figured out. Keys on the counter. Ah, yes. You're the man. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody would be trying to get in touch with Austin because my phone is the one, it's usually right here. I usually put that phone here, but that's what we're streaming from. So I would have been stuck. And with Commanders and Chiefs playing tonight, I would have not been a happy camper. Anyone have any other questions? I'll hang around another minute or two. So I brought out some Dijon. You know what? I'm going to see what it is. I'm going to see what it tastes like with some Dijon mustard, but it does not need it. It's got more than enough flavor on its own. In fact, I think the Dijon mustard's actually going to take something not away from it, but I think it's going to be worse with the Dijon mustard. And I love Dijon mustard. Hey, Kyle, what's going on? It's not worse. That's definitely not worse with some Dijon mustard. It's different. But that bite from the Dijon mustard with the cheese flavor from the feta cheese is perfect. If they only didn't add spinach to this. And if they called it something else, so I didn't have to remind myself that I hate feta, but love this. My brain's at war with itself at the moment. I absolutely highly recommend these. Last week or the last time we did one of these, the pheasant rangoon is absolutely one of my favorite things to make. When somebody says, oh, I don't like wild game, I like making those and be like, oh, we'll try this. But man, are they a pain in the butt to make. It takes forever. It's a lot of effort. It was a lot of figuring out to get that recipe nailed down. But this is super easy. You don't even have to make it as hard as I did. You don't have to make patties at them if you didn't want to. You could just cook them as like loose ground meat and it would still be phenomenal. Maybe not as good, but really good. That would help me mentally if we didn't have to call it feta. If we could call it just John's Chicken Patty. I think everyone would be really happy with that. Now, if you called it mine and you put green stuff in it, no one's going to believe that I'm the one that came up with that because I would not add spinach to any of my seasonings by choice. Which, whatever. It's a good reminder that sometimes I don't know best. Because I wouldn't have made that seasoning, and it is killer. It's been a couple of years since I made chicken brats out of that, or chicken anything out of that, and man, I forgot how good they are. I think I actually might like them better as these chicken patties than I do as chicken sausages. Yeah, but they call it the comfort zone for a reason. It's comfortable in there. I like being in there. It's a good place to be. We all want to be comfortable. But I get your point, and I agree with you for the most part. Occasionally, it's good to do something other than what we would normally do. All right, well, Oct Hunt, so OCT Hunt 25, 10% off any purchase at waltons.com. Good all the way till Friday. Also, Friday, Austin and I will be doing our live stream. We're going to do it from 4 to 5. We've got what I think, at least, is a fun, creative way to figure out what the gift card multiplier will be for anyone who's watching this who's not been part of one of those. What we do is we draw winners. All you have to do is comment on the video through YouTube. We draw winners, and then we normally have some sort of multiplier. We used to throw darts, then we did a bunch of other things, but we've got a good one for this one. So join us at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time at waltons.com/live. I look like your brother. These patties are definitely real meat. Those are chicken thighs. Oh, I'm sorry he passed away, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. That's a plate. We would never ever. So our company is based around meat, right? We sell meat processing equipment and supplies. We are great defenders of meat. We don't support, like, we fight, not fight, but we argue against, like, when something's called bacon, unless it's actually bacon. Like, there are things that it has to be called bacon. So turkey bacon, all that stuff, not real bacon. So this is definitely real meat. Those patties are not chicken thighs. That's what they all say. Whatever. Rhonda Hilliger's made from mashed up chicken thighs. Yep. So we ground them all up here. I'm uninterested in protein alternatives. So bacon is pork belly, but bacon is also pork belly with a certain ingoing parts per million of nitrite. So you can't call something or bacon if you just take a pork belly, season it, and smoke it. It has to have a certain ingoing parts per million. Now, they get around that with, all of this, no nitrites added. If you look closer, it always say no nitrites added other than those occurring in nature. What that is a celery juice powder, which is the exact same thing as nitrites. Like they are the same thing. One is just made from celery juice and the other is created in a lab. Real food finally and no cottage cheese. Jesus. Yeah, what is that? Why does everybody love adding cottage cheese to their stuff? I do not get it. I really don't understand. Yogurt is the other one. It's like, oh, use yogurt as a binder and as a way to, no, I don't want to. If I want to eat yogurt, I will go eat yogurt. I do not understand that. Drives me nuts. Yeah, Joseph, I wasn't saying you were wrong. I was just saying, like, the meat industry is so ridiculously regulated on what we can call things. And then somebody comes up with plant-based burger. Well, we don't get to call something a burger unless it's a burger. Why do you get to glom onto that? So it drives me nuts. I like to have enough faith in people if they look at like a package of veggie bacon, they're gonna be like, well, that's not real bacon. But if they see the word bacon on that, there's a good chance that they think they're eating real bacon. All right. We will see you guys Friday at waltons.com/live, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we'll be back next Monday. And I think next Monday is Weisswurst. Yeah, next Monday is Weisswurst. So I've got something called rose veal coming. So Weisswurst is generally made with 100% veal. I have an ethical problem with veal. Nothing to do with the fact that it's a baby, or not baby. It's a young calf. Like that's not what bothers me. It is the restriction of the animal's movement. I just can't get behind it. So rose veal, I can get behind. It's a younger animal, but it's allowed to roam free. It's not restricted in its movement. So we'll be making some Weisswurst with rose veal next Monday. See you guys. I can't stop it from here. I have to walk around behind the camera.